Hello, hello, hello. Happy Friday. Christmas jumper on for me, and everybody else failed. Well, Jamie tried. Steph had a go. Dong's giving it the excuse that his wife is out of town. I mean, isn't that meant to be that's meant to be a pass, isn't it? Wife's out of town? Party commences? I don't know. Just saying.
Wife out of town, no Christmas.
We're going to try a little bit harder next Friday. But evening, gentlemen. Good week.
Good evening.
Yeah, mixed week. But yeah, we're here. It's Friday. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody has anything to share this Friday? Anything at all? Anything about this week's events? Anything happened?
I tried to put that trackie back in the tank, and the tank went back for it. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So either he goes, he started picking at another one as well. So I don't want to get rid of him. So there's a big gap here now that I've got a dodgy clam at the minute. Yeah.
Say that again.
Okay. Yeah, sounds very ominous. Okay. So yellow tang, trackie. Not sure which way you're gonna go.
Trackies. Plural.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. And this guy, I told you last time, he's an old wild caught back from 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
Grown with me. Yeah.
Well, my offer still stands, Steph. You know, still there for you.
What was the offer again?
20 quid for each one.
No, Jamie, I thought it was some dinos. You're going to give some dinos?
Yeah, that was it. Donation.
Sold.
Sold.
I've got to do this. I'm doing something similar. If I dive off screen at any moment, it's because I've got a new trap in the other tank trying to catch this regal that has worked out the other trap. So if he goes in there, I'm diving. Okay. I'm diving off. But we'll see.
Yeah. Dong, anything to report this week? Yeah. Anything happened over at Acrogardens? Anything interesting to share?
I haven't changed water for an entire week.
Ooh, what, you or the tanks?
Yeah. There. No water change for the entire week. So that I'm doing a new experiment.
Yep.
What is the experiment?
Because you do know that Gaza's Reef, your biggest ever reefing fan in the whole world, is going to be bouncing up and down on his sofa right now with a whiskey in his hand, spilling it everywhere, going, yes, I don't do water changes, and I have... yes. Anyway, moving on.
Well,
or maybe Gaz has influenced
the reason that... Well, no, actually it's the weather. Because we have a big winter snowstorm.
Right.
Yeah. So, yep, that's why. So been shoveling snow left and right. So there's no energy left for changing water. Yeah.
How much? What percentage?
And my nitrate is 0.
What? Oh.
10%.
10%. Yeah. Okay. Fair
enough.
Okay. So, Dong, you've put together a bit of a presentation. As we said last week, we're going to do a bit of a Q&A on the back of quite a few questions that have been left either, or should I say, sent into us on email or left behind on a previous live stream. But one thing I do need to mention before we do start, a little bit of sad news. I'm sure those of you watching tonight are obviously aware of it. This week marks the recent passing of Jose, the CEO and founder of Reef Settlements. Both myself, Jamie, and Steph just wanted to give a little bit of a shout out and a bit of a sort of a reefing awareness. I've used a few Reef Settlements products, but I mean, somebody that would start as a reefing hobbyist that then would go into starting a business, a brand, and be a huge influence, support reefing events in the UK, Love to Reef, Coral Freaks, etc. I mean, that was a huge shock for me when I saw that on Instagram the other day. Jamie, Steph, I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I think. So I think, just he was always at all the shows, always approachable and talkative. And one thing I would say, whenever people had problems with his elements or questions about it, and then messaging the company, it was always Jose responding himself. Friday nights, Sunday mornings, he would respond to you. He was really helpful chap, really nice guy. Just awful, really. young bloke, family, and all the rest of it. You know, just you can't comprehend it. Even industry and thoughts aside of dosing, all that sort of, it's just on the personal level, it's just terrible. So, not nice news to start the week.
No, I saw him last at Coral Freaks. Like you already said, he was always at every show, supporting all the shows. And yeah, just as a family man, just a shock. You know, when I saw him, I said to everyone who's spoken to him, he just seemed, you know, the healthy man full of energy, and it's just such a shock.
He came across as a very passionate reefer, not only intelligent in terms of his background, but very passionate. And like you said, Jamie, always went out of his way to help fellow reefers, which I think is testament to what he created. So yeah, just wanted to literally, for the sake of this evening, just say, you know, condolences, love and best wishes to his wife and family at this difficult time. Okay, right then. So let's jump into the live stream. Let's see who's joined us this Friday evening. Hello, Tony Close Reef 3799. Hope you're good. Hope you've had a good week, mate. Happy Friday. John Boy's here as well. I've seen he's getting a Stratum Flex packaged up for him and sent second hand. I'm sure he'll be using that as a bit of a chat up line in the local discos in Skegness. I've got a strap. Sorry. Yeah, maybe wish that effect. You know what I mean, John
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club, John.
To the club. Hope you're good. Yazza Reef, good evening. Hope you're good. Critical Reef is in the house as well, as always. Thanks for tuning in. Nice to see you. Immers, here he is. Nice to see you. Matty Boy's with us as well. Good evening. Daniel, hope you're good. Nice to see you and not left the hobby. Interested to follow your stream on the new tank build for sure. Banana Rama. Not spoke to you for a while. Hope you're good, mate. Hope you got a bottle of tequila rose for Christmas, or several. Thanks for dripping. Woody's Reef, good evening. Woody's Reef, hope you're good. Who else we got in here? Mr. Parry is in the house. Reefing OG, good evening, sir. Hope you're good. Happy Friday to you. At 84 David N777, greetings from San Diego, fellow English reefers. Good evening. Nice. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for the support.
Good morning or good evening, wherever that may be.
Yes. Clearly he's got nothing else to be doing other than listen to us for the next 5 minutes until he goes to work or whatever he's doing. Anthony, good evening. Hope you're good. Who else we've got in here? Terry, Tezzer, happy Friday to you, man. There you go. Jamie, one of your fellow football fans.
We're not talking. We're not
talking. Okay. Even Shazza, listening not far away from. Yes, they are meant to be in my house right about now. Disappointing. You must drive faster. No, jokes aside. Dalius, good evening. Hope you're well. Dalius is the gentleman that sent in one of the questions for tonight's show. Dom, I hope you've remembered that one on the corals. I hope we're going to be able to share that with him and give him a little bit of enlightenment, should I say? Derek Hebbs, good evening. Hope you're good. Harry Bowe's with us as well. Hope you're good, Harry. Dave's Reef, good evening. Happy Friday to you. Stephen, hello. New one. PS-CK5KV. There you go.
Wow.
Thanks for tuning in.
We need to know your name. Put your name in the comments.
It would help. Here he is, the Scottish Reefer. Finally gets to watch live. Hope you're good, Joe. Hope you're good.
He doesn't turn up when he's on live.
He does. Melinda, long time no speak. Hope you're good. Intrinsic, good evening. Who else we got in here? A few more. Here we go. Nick Bro 409, good evening. Thanks for tuning in. Mickey Boy's in the house. Techers, good evening. Prime Corals, good evening. Telly Graham, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the support. I haven't missed anybody. Tony Digital, yes. Elisa is with us.
Elisa?
Well, be careful. I haven't mentioned Marine Reefer 1. Here we go. It'll be good. Chris, good evening to you. Robbo, good evening to you. Alan, hope you and the missus are good. Have an amazing Christmas if I don't speak to you soon. Marky Mark's in the house. Motion Seawave Products. And Julian, Paul as well are with us as well. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you've had a good week. Thank you.
Yarek.
There we go. Oh, Yarek. Who's got a new tank? Looking forward to seeing it set up. Yes,
nice.
Got a new fish tank. Yes, this guy Dong, I'm gonna give him a shout out. We talk about patience in the hobby, right? We talk about waiting for like your water to cycle, live rock, coralline algae, all the good stuff, right? This guy has had the money for this reef tank. Correct me if I'm wrong, Eric. He's nearly had the money for this reef tank for a year, but he was waiting till Black Friday in England to get the best discounts possible. Yeah. So he's had the money and it's been burning the biggest holes in his pocket, but he's waited in Black Friday to get the sales. And I hope you've got the best deal, my man. I'm really looking forward to seeing your tank. And looking forward to catching up with you at a reef meet soon. But yeah, sorry, Dom. Over to you. So Q&A. What's it all about? What we doing?
Yep. Well, since we have several episodes aired, there's plenty of questions flooded my inbox, and people are talking about. Well, actually, we stirred the pots. Basically, that's what we did. We stirred the pots, and then this is the response.
You stirred the pot.
I stirred the pot.
I'm not being held responsible for anything.
Okay.
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 So you've called it the Reefers Network. So it's the Reefers Network Q&A. So I'm held responsible. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. To share the blames. Actually, before we start, for the unfortunate news that the people pass away for this hobby, actually it brings an important question for all our reefers, because that we have all these animals in our caring, right? Yep. So things can happen unexpectedly. So sometimes that we have to think about what the family, what we can tell the family members to do when something that happened unexpectedly when we're in this hobby. So one thing that I found is quite interesting and beneficial is that some of the reefers here, local here, they actually put me in their will. So in case of anything happen, I am the contact person to help them to take down their tank, find new home for their livestock. I think that's quite kind of interesting. So you can be a potential business opportunity too, right? But it for me is that I also think about what happened if anything happened to me. Then I have contingency plan for my family to how to take care of all these animals, how to give them a good home, take down the tank. Yeah. Well, so this is something to think about for all our reefers. So to contact good friends and your local community to set up some kind of contingency plan if anything happen. Or maybe just as simple as that, if you have to stay in the hospital for 6 months, then who to contact for your family member to get help?
Would you rather
take care?
So would you rather? So, and I'll ask the three of you this question then. So would you rather have a reefer look after your tank who's got their own methodology or their own way of doing things, or would you rather have somebody who he's not a reefer that you start from scratch? Jamie?
My microphone's being a dick. I've got a couple of mates that have kind of said it's yours if I'm not here. I don't really. It'll go somewhere good, right? As long as I don't tell my wife what I paid for it is a standard thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, but if God forbid something happened and you went, like Dong said, you had to go and spend some time in hospital, who's your backup to go and look after that tank now behind you? Well, you've got 3 tanks, haven't you?
To be fair, my wife would probably get Paul at AAC involved straight away. Be rounded like a shot. Clear me out. That would probably be it. Yeah, that's where she knows to go.
Steph?
I suppose you don't think about it, but you should do.
Steph?
No, it's a good point. Yeah. Well, it'd obviously be Bert, wouldn't it? But we've seen her tanks, so I'll date to see my fish go to her. I'm just kidding.
Oh, is she watching?
Yeah, she will be. Yeah, just did.
Oh, okay. So, Dong,
no,
what's your?
Yeah.
She's all right.
So, in this kind of situation, I think the best option for any reefers is that actually is to find somebody that is trustworthy and to sell off the livestock and take down the thing. So ask somebody to take care of your tank at the level that you're paying attention to your tank is almost impossible. Everybody has
that's what I'm saying though. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I was kind of saying, is that everybody has different sort of processes, methodology. They will see one parameter is more important than testing than another, etc.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying to you. Do you not think there's an argument that it's better to take somebody neutral that has got no experience and tell them this is how I want you to do it, rather than somebody decide because they've got a bit of reefing experience that, oh no, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. So that brings up a very interesting point, is that actually our tanks are molded to our habits, the way how we take care of them. So that is why there is so many successful way to take care of a reef tank, because the reef tank actually are accustomed to your methods. If you have a successful reef, so you basically all the corals are highly adaptable. They basically adapt it to whatever method you are running.
Yeah.
So that includes very difficult for somebody else to take care of it.
And that includes husbandry, doesn't it? In terms of like water changes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I'm hoping I last long enough that my little boys are old enough to take it over, because they're fascinated by it at the minute, but they're only 5 and 4, so that's not going to happen anytime soon. But they're on top of me. They're like, Daddy, we need to go and feed the fish. Daddy, you haven't cleaned the filter. Daddy, that protein skimmer stinks. So they're on it already. Like they're halfway there.
That's good. You have a backup plan. Yeah,
that would be the dream.
So finding somebody that is trustworthy and know what they're doing to break down the tank and sell off the equipment as well as the livestock actually is very important, because that if we are not be able to take care of all these animals, it become a very big burden for the family. It is really big burden. So that's why my wife gave me a 10-year plan. So, but this plan already taking, the 10 years already taking about 1 year now. So within 10 years, all this should be gone. That's what she want. All this totally gone.
Oh.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, and then I can travel with her around the world. That's the plan. And so this actually can be a humongous burden.
I know that feeling, because whenever I leave my house to go somewhere, even if it's just down to AAC, down to see Jamie, Paul and the guys, there is always something that goes wrong when I'm not at home.
Yes.
Always. Power cut, a wet socket, something happens, and the agreement I have with my wife is she will feed the fish. That is it. That is the agreement. Feed the fish, nothing else. And I'm not going to make her out to be 3 foot, because she's not, but my wife's very short. So in the garage, all the sockets around the top of the tanks are quite tall. So the other week, I was with Steph, actually, if you remember, I had a power cut again, every time we got out to AAC. And I was having to explain to her to turn them all off and then turn them all on one at a time to figure out which one was wet. I think it's by the time I got to the 5th one, I'd been divorced before I'd been married and then divorced again, or something like that. So I kind of like get exactly what you're saying here. There is a fine line, and to us it's an addiction, but to spouses, partners, family members, it's just fish that you put some food in.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you put a presentation together, Dong. Then let's go for it. Let's have a look.
Okay.
Here we go.
Right,
Q&A.
let's go for it. Yep. Q&A. So there's one of the questions that I got asked by several people. Actually, this is started from the last week's live stream with Tusi Coral.
Yeah.
Because that what he said is that he does not use activated carbon, and he used the do it yourself coral snow. So instead of the activated carbon. So this question also been asked before that show, but ever since that show, last week's show, this question has been popping up left and right. So can we use coral snow instead of activated carbon? Is there any good or good side, downside of it? So actually, from I only can speak from my personal experience. So my personal experience is that yes, the coral do-it-yourself coral snow definitely can replace activated carbon. Maybe it actually do a much better job than activated carbon. The reason for that is that this is what I'm doing right now. So every week I treated all my system with do-it-yourself coral snow. And I haven't run activated carbon for a while now. But I still have a lot of activated carbon on hand in case I need to use them to take out any chemicals like disease treatment, that kind of thing. But I do use the do-it-myself coral snow instead of activated carbon. So think about it this way is that the do-it-yourself coral snow basically is very fine calcium carbonate particles. So what those particles has the same property as activated carbon is because they have a humongous amount of surface area. That's what exactly the activated carbon do, because it has so much surface area, and all this organic material of excess elements, metal, they just bind to the surface. So think about it this way is that when you use the do-it-yourself coral snow, you disperse the activated carbon in very fine particle throughout your system. So in theory, that actually is much more effective than a bags of activated carbon sitting in a chamber that water slowly goes through it.
Yeah.
Just think about it this way. So because they both have the same property, it's massive amount of surface area.
You just need different equipment. You would never use coral snow or marine snow without mechanical filtration, because it, as a flocculant, it makes big particles designed to be removed by a filter mat or a skimmer. You have to have some sort of mechanical filtration. Whereas with carbon on a nano tank, you might not have a skimmer, and that probably works better there. Is that fair?
Because that when the coral snow in a nano tank situation, so I think the nano tank situation probably is not a very good way to use the coral snow. You're absolutely correct, because the lack of effective mechanical filtration as well as a protein skimmer. So yeah, for a nano tank probably is not the best idea. But then when you're running a nano tank, the cost of activated carbon is not that big, right? Because you don't need to use a lot. So the way I look at it is that when the cost is a factor, for example, with so much water volume I have, the coral snow, do it yourself. That's a key point. Do it myself. Coral snow is actually much more economical.
Okay. Well, you said do it yourself, and
yes.
What's Terry saying? Where are we? So what's the ingredients then, in your opinion?
The
DIY.
If you go to the next slide.
Oh, there we go.
Yes, it's very simple. It basically, how to make it is you buy this calcium carbonate fine powder. Costs only about less than $10. Okay. Now you got this.
That's on Amazon. That's on Amazon there. Yeah.
Yeah, that was on Amazon. Yeah. It's very cheap. But this is not the only one. There's so many of them out there. It's just ultra fine calcium carbonate powder. So this $10 can probably last you for several months. All you need to do is just 10 tablespoons of this powder and just drop into roughly 500 milliliter of distilled water and shake it well. Voila, it's done. And then the dosage
how often done?
Can be, huh?
How often would you do that? How often would you do that?
You can do it. You can do it every day, or you can do it every other day, every week, every month. Doesn't matter. The reason for that is that here's an interesting thing that what happened to the do-it-yourself coral snow. Jake Adams, the late Jake Adams, he actually did an experiment. He, what he did is that he used the coral snow, dose it every day in an SPS system for the whole year. No negative effect, only crystal clear water.
Which should, in theory, help you with. Yeah. We should, in theory, help you with obviously lighting as well. So it's going to help you with lighting, isn't it? Crystal clear water, DOCs, lack of.
Yes, actually, for matter of fact, that if you want to get rid of the coloring in the water, the do-it-yourself coral snow actually works really well. You got crystal clear water, the fish just like floating in the thin air. Is that clear? And but one thing is that you need to have well, after you dose the coral snow, you need to close your eye, run away from the house, and do not look at your tank for at least an hour, because the tank is going to be milky white.
Yeah.
And you're going to, if you don't have a strong heart, and you say, "Oh my God." So,
do you know what I find though about using that though, when you get that milky white in your tank, is it really helps you to identify the algae that you haven't cleaned with the scraper that you've missed, because it's really easy to, as a contrast, you can see it against the white background where you've missed it.
Oh no, actually, the tank will be totally milky white.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, whenever I've used it before, it helps you to show you where you've missed with the algae scraper, because you can see it against the white background clearer than you can without it.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
It's also good for your flow patterns as well, as soon as you put it in.
Yeah. Okay. Fair
so
normally
that I put them in at night. So I drop the do it myself coral snow at night. I just go to bed. I don't want to even look at it. The next morning is crystal clear. It's really effective to remove all the yellowing color from water when you do a white bucket test. And after the coral snow treatment is really good. So here, I need to say that KZ developed the coral snow recipe. This is an extremely simple mechanism, but I need to salute them for their initial research and development to develop this recipe. So for KZ, coral snow, so they deserve the credit. Even though now when the cat out of the bag is so simple, but to get this simple method, it takes some effort.
But it also takes a spoon to mix it up at the bottom where it's just got so hardened and like got turned into concrete. All these products,
actually, you won't.
Everyone I've owned, after a period of time, it seems to like you get a sediment at the bottom, and all you end up doing is getting a really weak solution, and you have to mix it in at the bottom.
So that is why the do-it-yourself recipe actually even better, because you can just mix and dose, and next time you just mix it again, mix a brand new batch.
Yeah.
You don't have to let it sit there for a while. And there is an even better way to make the do-it-yourself coral snow recipe. An even better way. Because that how fine this powder is directly affecting how effective this powder is. So you want this calcium carbonate powder to be as fine as possible. So how do you make the best, the finest, purest powder? Is very simple. If you have the two-part dosing reagent, one is the alkalinity, one is the calcium, right? Now, you take 10 mils of the calcium solution or whatever, and take 10 mils of the alkalinity solution, pour them together into a cup, stir it. immediately you will form the calcium carbonate, fresh calcium carbonate suspension. Just form. It just brand sparkling new precipitation. Those are actually is the finest calcium carbonate powder you can ever ask for, if you want to do it that way. Yeah, 2-part solution. Equal volume, pour them together. You can see the boom. You got a white suspension in the cup. Now that is the gourmet version of the do-it-yourself coral snow.
And how long do you leave the skimmer off for then? Because obviously,
no, I just keep the skimmer always running. I don't turn it off at all.
Okay.
Yes. Always.
In most applications, when you use this, you are told to leave it off for a period of time, aren't you? For it to.
I don't see that it's necessary.
Okay.
Yeah, because that there will be sufficient amount of the suspension flying around in the water to clean the water. So there's really no reason to let it sit there without a skimmer, because when you turn off the skimmer, you actually reduce the oxygen level in your tank.
Yeah,
that
makes
is
sense.
a negative effect. There's no reason to do that. Keep your skimmer always on, and well, when you do the do-it-yourself coral snow recipe, since it's such an inexpensive way, just add a little bit more. If you think the skimmer is taking out the powder immediately, so what? Add more. Yeah.
So you're saying then that you should do the DIY every day, or you should do it?
You can do it if you want to. You can do every night.
Because I was always told you should do it after a water change, because you disturbed.
Why?
You disturbed a lot of the substrate stuff. You got a lot of particulates floating around in your tank. You wanted to obviously, remove them out of the water column, get your water clean. That was the right time after a water change. After you'd gravel vac, after you'd done a water change, after you'd done maintenance. That was how I was always told you should use coral snow. You clearly have got a different opinion.
I think that that is a good time to use the coral snow. Yeah, it's a good time, but why limit to that period of time, right?
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Is it safe for everything, or does it? Sorry, Dong.
Sorry.
Is it safe for everything, or does it cause irritation to filter feeders like clams and stuff?
Actually, this is the question that Jake Adams was trying to answer.
Well, that's apparently a bit of me. That
apparently it's not. There's no impact. So I have been using this. I don't see anything happen to my clam, or my fish, or anything. So I have the dories in all of my tanks. Every tank has a dory in it. I never see any irritation on your skin like what the activated carbon can potentially cause, right? But when I do this do-it-yourself coral snow recipe for years, never see any drawback on that. It seems that everybody is pretty happy about it.
All right. So where does the DIY coral snow sit then in terms of carbon? And we talk about carbon taking minor trace elements out.
That is a very good question. Yeah, that's a very good question, because the do-it-yourself coral snow will act the same as activated carbon. It will take out your trace element. It will. So does it take out more or less? It's hard to say.
Right, okay.
It's hard to say because there's no study to back that up. So that is the thing, is that if you are using, so my idea is that if you are using activated carbon, why not give the do-it-yourself coral snow a try? And both of them will take out your trace element for sure. But how much impact? I don't know. I have no scientific data to back that up.
Which do you think, Dong, is the cheapest?
I think the do-it-yourself coral snow will be significantly cheaper than any activated carbon. Significantly, it's hugely cheaper. But of course, that if you're using the KZ coral snow, you better get a very good lawyer for your divorce proceeding. But if you show your wife that, hey, this is a $10 jug and I can use it for 3 months, your wife said, Hell yeah! So where's my Louis Vuitton bag? The do-it-yourself coral snow will increase your happiness for marriage, and if you're actually paying for it, that will significantly decrease your happiness of marriage.
Yeah, just don't put it in the bedside table. That's another story for another day. 3024 Dong is saying, does that DIY method calcium mixed with soda ash raise the pH?
No, it doesn't. So because the soda ash itself, let's see, the question is that does that do-it-yourself method calcium mixed with, okay. It won't raise your pH because when you're adding 1-to-1 ratio of the alkalinity of calcium, it exactly is give you it neutralize each other perfectly. That's what exactly the two-part system are meant for. Is they calculate precisely when you're dosing the same volume, you end up with a neutral end product. So it won't raise your pH, it won't raise your alkalinity because that calcium carbonate is highly insoluble. Remember back like 20-something years ago, people are trying to dose calcium carbonate powder into their reef tank. And that is not being done anymore because it doesn't actually help your alkalinity of calcium. Because calcium carbonate, that is the primary ingredient in the coral snow, is highly, highly, highly insoluble in water. So it won't affect your pH, won't affect your alkalinity, won't affect your calcium.
Yeah. Well, Steph sat there looking rather confused. You're right there, mate.
I'm just looking at the math. I'm trying to do the maths on what it would cost. Because you're 10 spoons for 500 ml, and then it's 1 mil per 40. So I'm like, tenner. What's a tenner going to be in it?
Pennies. Absolute pennies, isn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely pennies. So
and you've got more control over the trace element export because that's the I don't use.
We can do it more often, can't you? You can do it more often though, can't you?
Yeah, exactly.
You can do it more often.
And then keep your eye on it.
Yes.
Yeah, but obviously
you can do more or less. It's easy to control. Actually, Steph, you brought out a very important question. Is that when you're doing the do-it-yourself coral snow, it's much easier to control how much you use than activated carbon. Yes.
Dong, the reason I asked about this, is it okay for filter feeding animals, is because S.J. Charles in the comments has said exactly what I was thinking. I've heard about this is really good for knocking out vermitids. Obviously, they're a sort of semi-filter feeding animal. So if it's going to knock them out, which I think it has an effect on, I've seen that myself, does it harm clams, duster worms, and things like that?
Only if you wear one of those. Only if you wear one of those masks, Jamie. You've got on now.
So if you are dosing coral snow, the do-it-yourself coral snow, just to clarify your water, the amount you use probably has very little impact on the how do you pronounce it? I can never be able to pronounce that. Yeah, that's snails. So normally you need to get a syringe, directly rain the coral snow on top of the snail to get any effect. But I highly question that. Seriously, I highly question the effectiveness because those snails have a trapdoor. If they see anything incoming, they just close the trapdoor. That nothing can happen to them. So I don't think it's a really good method to remove the stationary snail. Just my own opinion. And well, I have some of them in there, but they doesn't seem to get affected by the amount I dose. Try to clarify my water.
Yeah, okay.
So So I won't use the do-it-yourself coral snow as the primary method to eliminate those snails. I don't think it's effective enough.
I mean,
and bumblebee snail doesn't work either.
You can use that, and you can also put a food. You can put particulate food in it, like Benny Pets, and they will absorb that, and then it will work that way. Is what I've been told. I've tried it a few times.
Yeah, probably that you basically entice them to take the powder in.
Correct. Yes.
So what I do is I just use super glue gel to shut it off.
I can see you're the kind of person that would enjoy doing that, Don, on a daily basis.
Oh yeah. So they cannot open the cap and they cannot come out. They just trap inside and then just die that way.
Very Star Wars. It's a very Star Wars thing. That.
Okay, moving on. Next slide.
Yep. Okay. So coral probiotic. That's a very frequently asked question. Many people say, "Oh, coral probiotic. Look at the market is flooded with coral probiotics." So the people said, "Should I do this? Should I feed this freaking A, B, C, D, E, F, G bacteria?" So as a scientist, I can tell you that hell no. So I'm going to piss off many people here. But if you think you can purchase a commercial coral probiotics off the market, like Amazon, whatever, saying in your local fish store, and you actually put in your tank and thinking you're doing coral probiotic, wake up! You're just wasting your money. Period.
Is that what you called reefing bullshit, Dom?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's one big bullshit of the coral probiotic. Because let me tell you why. So let's go to the next slide.
Okay.
Tom.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there you go.
Coral probiotic. Here's a review article about that. What it does. What's the future? What has been done? What happened is that a coral probiotic have to satisfy several criteria. First, you have to promoting the coral nutrition and growth. And second, have the mitigating stress and impact of toxic compound. And third, have the deterring pathogens. Fourth, have the benefit early life stage of development. Blah 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 blah. All these are criteria for a coral probiotic. If you look at the so-called coral probiotic on the market, none of them does that. Many of them are just denitrification bacteria. They doesn't do what a coral probiotic actually does. And if you go to the next slide, I will show you why. This is the one and only true coral probiotic actually come out from research. That's from a decades of research from the Smithsonian Institute, plus a bunch of university. They work on this freaking thing, come up with this bacteria. And this is the only known coral probiotic actually available so far at this moment. And
right. Can you give me this? Can you give me this in simple terms? What I'm looking at? Sorry, Dom.
Okay, what you're looking at is a type of bacteria.
Okay. Yeah.
So with a simple name called the MCH17.
Right.
After all decades of research, after all this money poured into it, that is the thing the scientific community come out with. One.
Right.
And that thing, basically, let's put it this way, this is not available in any form of format for this hobby. And that is a true coral probiotic.
So, right, okay.
That tells you anything you can buy today.
Yeah. So anything that's classed as probiotic isn't the real deal because that's
it's
the
not the
one.
real deal. They're imposters.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
What about Yakult?
So, yep. Sorry.
What about Yakult? Yakult.
What's that?
It's a probiotic that we've been sold for years.
Human digestion system.
Oh,
you know those little things that you must know what I mean.
Yeah.
No.
Well, so sorry, go ahead.
Don't trust anybody with a Rick and Morty hoodie on.
Pickle Rick.
There we go.
Pickle Rick.
Oh.
Anyway, okay.
So anyway, so that's something that when you think about coral probiotic, we are not there yet. We cannot buy it, we cannot use it. The rest of them, most
So
likely.
It's hard to
think-
test for
do
that
we-
stuff, isn't it?
Well, do we think that then there's been an element of marketing then again, Dong?
I think that I don't know. I seriously don't know when this thing will hit the hobby market. I don't know. Because this thing,
because words like probiotic are always seen as a positive terminology for your reef tank and your body and whatever else. It's a good thing to be digesting, ingesting, whatever.
Can I
Do you know
just give
what I
an
mean?
example though? Because I've been using the biotic, right? And this tank now is absolutely the clearest it's ever been. You can see straight through both tanks. And I've never really had that clarity. And that's the Nios biotic that I've been using. And I'm judging that product on the performance, if that makes sense, right? Like the water clarity in here. I don't know if you can see properly, but it is crystal clear. And
well, so just for the holiday spirit, so I can tell you that this is crystal clear as well, and I do not use that probiotic. So think about it this way: is that
you do it yourself?
Huh?
Yeah. Do you do the do it yourself? Yeah.
Oh, the coral snow can do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
See if you want crystal clear water.
You don't want to ask Dong about his own probiotic dosing. Believe me.
No, is it one of those?
But as a hobby, so if you think a product actually can improve your tank, there's nothing wrong with it. Seriously, as a hobby, there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. As long as it's actually think about this way. Being a hobby is something that we do for our enjoyment, right? Yeah. So if a product doesn't cost you arm and legs, you put in your tank and you feel the enjoyment about the improvement you're seeing, it does its job. But that's what I'm trying to say is that something can make your tank crystal clear. It doesn't mean that it's done through the mechanism of as a coral. As what they claim, just like lots of KG stuff. They tell you all this bogus series. But like the coral snow, it does give your tank a crystal clear water. But that's good enough, right? As a hobby. So yeah.
From what you've explained here, there's a lot of deep science behind what constitutes to actually being a probiotic, right?
Yes.
There are so many factors that so when you look at this, a scientific paper, you can't deny that is science. I guess it's just we often get a product and it works and we go, brilliant, it's doing what I want it to do. Do you know what I mean? And I think I still don't understand what
I just think big words are used in our industry to market certain things in certain ways. So
it actually reminds me one thing is about herbal medicine, right?
Which one?
So herbal medicine for human.
Okay.
The thing is, many of them actually works, but we have no idea why they works. So sometimes it's always have this that kind of thing. So that is something like that's a good thing to being in a hobby instead of in a scientific research institute, right? We get so much leeway about doing things. Yeah.
So I think some of the research I've done myself, you know what it's like. You start looking into something, and before you know it, 2 hours have gone, and you're just reading stuff you never thought existed. I've done this before about some of this thing, and as hobbyists, we don't need to know what's on the screen, all that sort of science stuff. But I think the way I was sort of understood it is that the stuff we're sold as probiotics doesn't contain any of the bacteria, but it contains compounds that help feed bacterial groups. So in turn, potentially could be beneficial. So it's like at the start of the chain, if that makes sense. It's not the actual bug, but it's stuff that helps them grow.
Yep. That actually can be classified as a prebiotic or whatever, saying that to feed the bacteria. But here's another question. Do you know what type of bacteria this compound feeds? They can feed the bad one as
good
well
and
as
bad.
the good one. So this is good and bad. So it's hard to
what, just like a carbon source?
Pardon?
Just like a carbon source in general.
Yes, yes, exactly. It's like carbon source. So actually, here's a food for thought. I keep thinking about this. Carbon dosing. People use carbon dosing as a carbon source to reduce nitrate and phosphate. Yeah. When people use all for reef, it's a very big carbon dosing. So here's my question to the audience. So when you're using all for reef, is your nitrate and phosphate all dropped to the bottom? Or do you still have trouble fighting phosphate and nitrate?
Oh. If you use all three, chuck it in the comments.
Yeah.
I used it. I started with that actually, Don, and I still struggled with nutrients on all three.
What? Not having them or too many?
No, having them and trying to lower them. Yeah, like the one bottle all three. I had that. I used to buy them, and I still struggled with nutrients. Yeah.
So that brings, because this is what I heard as well. Because myself, I don't use all for reef, but I know people who use them. So now here comes my question. Now I'm not trying to say I do not have a conclusion. Because all for reef is calcium formate. Formate is the single carbon dosing. That's supposed to be the most effective method of carbon dosing. And the amount of a reef dose in a tank are tremendously higher than what the no-pax or whatever the other method of carbon dosing. And people still struggling with nitrate and phosphate. That boils down to the fundamental thing is that, are we chasing the right direction for nutrient control, for carbon dosing? How effective carbon dosing actually is? I do not have a question. I do not have an answer. I just throw out this question to stir the pot. Let people think about this way. Right?
Probably feeding the wrong guy.
Let's move on.
Guys. Just a quick question you should throw into the comments for you, Dong. I did ask people if you've got any questions to throw them into the chat. Neil's Carisi Brick 1074. Thanks for tuning in. Yes, it is Neil, as in Neil. Come on, help me out. Neil, offshore reefer. There we go. Yes, there we go. I work away a lot, and last trip a torch fell over and died, producing brown jolly disease. Lost about 4 torches. How would you medicate the tank, seeing as you don't like Cipro and don't like activated carbon? That'll be good, Neil.
Very good question. So first of all, brown jelly disease is not actually the disease. It's a symptom. What you see the brown jelly actually is when the torch is dying and the bacteria is consuming the dying flesh. That's what you see of the brown jelly disease. So brown jelly disease is not a one disease at all. It's not a one bacterial, one disease, or one virus, one disease. The brown jelly disease we see in this hobby is actually a symptom caused by various bacteria. From even as simple as if a torch get damaged, instead of actively being attacked by some kind of bacterial virus, basically, let's say you get damaged by Aedes incarnata, or it hit the ground, you got submerged, it got covered by sand, irritated and dying, and when the flesh is dying and the bacteria, it go there to consume the flesh, and that what you see is the brown jelly, so-called dark brown jelly show up, because it's a symptom instead of a disease. So when you have a brown jelly, you do a full tank Cipro treatment. I do not think that's the best idea to do it, because you are basically tossing the baby with the bath water, whatever that phrase is, right?
Yeah.
So because when you do a Cipro treatment of your whole tank, you're killing everybody. So basically, you're killing the good bacteria that the coral and the whole ecosystem rely on, as well as the bacteria can potentially infect coral. So if you have one coral develop some kind of brown jelly disease, take it out and do a QT or own treatment on that coral itself instead of dosing the whole tank. I do not think activated carbon can do anything for your brown jelly disease at all. There's no reason to.
No.
So because the brown jelly is something that is a symptom that when the bacteria in the water are chewing on dead tissues, it's a natural way for decay. I don't think activated carbon can do anything in this situation. What it can do, probably nothing. So of course that the do-it-yourself coral snow, I won't think it will do anything to treat a brown jelly disease because I just cannot think about any reason that it can help. And as well as Cipro, here's the important thing about Cipro. Cipro as a dip, it never work. Cipro are not meant to be used as a dip. When all these people are Cipro dipping their coral and dipping their anemone, they're basically just doing something is not effective at all. Because how Cipro work, you need to do a QT process for multiple day dosage to keep in a Cipro. What Cipro does is that basically it stops the bacteria to replicate.
Yeah.
And then let the other thing, let your body, when you hit the human body, so you stop the bacteria to replicate, and then your body's immune system come in to kill the bacteria. And you always, Cipro is not a one-day treatment. If you look at all these things, it's always like multiple day, like 7-day, 5-day treatment, the whole course. And you have to carry out the whole course. So same thing, when you use Cipro, it cannot be used as a dip. One-time dip doesn't do jack at all.
Yeah.
For matter of fact, if you use iodine, it works as a dip. It works much better than Cipro. And also another thing is that if you're outside the US, you shouldn't even use Cipro to dip your coral. I don't think it's legal, right? In Canada, in UK, it's not legal to do so. Yeah. So okay.
Thank you very much for that. Thanks for covering that.
Okay. So now another question we can ask is that why we keep higher alkalinity in our reef tank. When here's a question that many people ask is that, well, if I look at the literature and then the seems like in a natural coral reef, the alkalinity is much lower than what we're keeping in our tank. So besides that, we try to create us a buffer. For example, that when we set the alkalinity at 9, so if it drops down 1 DKH, it's still at 8, so it's still in the safe zone. Besides you use the higher alkalinity as a buffer, there's another important thing is that in our captive environment, we normally have much higher nitrate, ammonia in the water. So when high level of a nutrient like nitrate ammonia present in the water, not only it can be used as a food source, it also inhibits the coral growth when your alkalinity is low. That's a research result. That's what we'll find out, that when you keep a low alkalinity, the coral does not tolerate higher nitrate and ammonia level as well. But
why is that then? Why is that?
Oh, it's actually, here's the thing. If you look at the refill ratio, right? The refill ratio, actually, despite the refill ratio does not apply to coral, blah, blah, blah. But the actual value of the refill ratio is meant for phytoplankton. But the general trend still hold valid. That means you need 100 carbon, like 16, 15 of phosphor, and then 16, 15 of nitrogen, and then nitrogen, 1 phosphor, that kind of bullshit. Phosphorus. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hold on. Let me. My laptop is kind of getting a little bit low. So that's a common thing. I forgot to turn on the power strip that the laptop plugged into. Okay, so back to the so-called refill ratio. We need a huge amount of carbon and Texas fruit bowl of nitrogen and 1 apple of phosphor, right? Where did carbon come from? For photosynthesis organism, the carbon coming from the alkalinity.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
So that's why when we keep higher alkalinity, that means that we provided sufficient amount of carbon for the coral and bacteria to utilize the excess nitrogen and phosphorus. If they are not being utilized, they actually will slow down the coral growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, when we go back to the back 20 years ago, okay, all the reef firms are shooting for 0 phosphate, 0 nitrate, and they have bombing beautiful coral tank. Why is that? Yeah, you remember those days. Actually, the 0 phosphate, 0 nitrate, the coral actually pretty happy in those kind of situations. But
not for long though.
He's not exactly 0 though. If you look at the actual situation.
Yeah.
Well, not for long, because if you don't have fish, not for long. But if you have fish, despite your tank water testing,
they're adding to it all the time for you.
Yeah. Because the fish were fertilizing the coral, and you're fertilizing the coral in a proper fashion, how the ocean is doing. Okay, so there's plenty of scientific literature showing how the coral in the natural reef, how they feed on nitrogen and phosphorus. What they like is that a coral here sitting in pristine water, 0 phosphate, 0 nitrate. Then a group of fish fly by. Boom.
Poop all over
raining down phosphate and nitrate. And then, just keep eating. And then the fish go away and the coral sit at this pristine water again. Because the coral are evolved to how they feed on N and P, nitrogen and phosphate, is by momentarily, by wave, by pulse. So basically sitting there perfectly clean, boom, the nutrient runs down.
Hence why you talk about flow down.
Exactly. Yes, that's very important. Also, try to imagine this. Okay, we eat 3 meals a day, and we prefer after and before we eat, we prefer to sit in a very clean environment, right? So you want to sit in a room.
I'm worried where you're going with this conversation, but go on.
Oh no, it's perfectly fine. You sit in a dining room, very clean, very pleasant. You're very happy, and then a hamburger show up, and just eat it, and then the dish, somebody wash your dish, preferably that happen, and then you sit in a very clean environment again. You do it 3 times a day. Try to imagine a coral that do it multiple times a day. Is that they're sitting in a very clean room and enjoying the environment. Boom, their hamburger falls down from the sky and eat it, and the flow carry out, clean the environment. The flow comes in, clean the environment. You sit in a very clean room again. Oh, you're gonna be happy. But when you try to imagine a different scenario, you're sitting there, and then that you fill with 100 hamburgers sitting there, and then the freaking thing is rotting. You can always grab one. And those freaking rotting hamburger is available 24/7. You're sitting there among that, just like sitting on a toilet. So which way you prefer? You prefer something like, you sit in a very clean environment, hamburger shows up, eat it, clean it.
There is something though about eating a pizza the day after, though, isn't there? Do you not get that satisfaction? Does anybody else join me on this one?
Chinese the day after is always good.
Cold pizza the day after. Anybody else in the comments?
Any takeaway the day after is good.
Nice to take away the day after.
Anything.
Because whenever you've had too many beers or too many cocktails done, you order the whole menu, you don't eat it, you fall asleep, and the morning after it's like, what did I do? Anyway, sorry, we digressed.
But this is actually the reality is for our corals. It's shit we're talking about, not hamburgers and pizzas.
Yeah, but do you know what? Do you know in all essence though, it's pouring all that food in that they don't need.
Yeah.
Into the, do you know what I mean? Into the water column that only you filtration, all right, your roller mat, filter floss, whatever your product is going to take so much of it out. The rest of it is going to turn into excess nutrients. Literally,
I think I think majority of people are guilty of overfeeding.
Waking up covered in doner kebab, Steph.
Well, there you go. I think we all are guilty of overfeeding our systems, aren't we? Massively, especially when someone else is looking after the tank. They looked hungry.
Oh, they're hungry. Yeah, more.
Yeah, but how many people have got fish how many people have got fish that go, no, don't want it, thank you. Enough is enough.
Some of us
take it.
Some of us purposely buy really high polluting food for that reason. I need phosphate, so I buy really stinky, horrible food. Well, in a nice way, because I know that's going to give me a phosphate reading the next day. So sometimes you need that.
And this gave me nitrate reading the other day, right after.
I'm sure we saw.
So the ideal situation how to feed our coral actually is this kind of feed the coral by pulsing the nutrient. Let them sit in pristine water and then the one pulse, another pulse. That is how actually the coral feeding in the reef, on the reef. That actually has been documented and studied thoroughly by scientific literatures. That is how the ocean works. That is why that the ocean is such a pristine. There's so nutrient poor in the water, but coral still grows really well. Because when people testing the nutrient, they are not testing when the fish were pooping or peeing on them.
Right. Okay.
Yep. Okay. So next, when we talk about oxygen level, that question actually started. People started to ask that question about oxygen level after they watch Julian Spunk's the talk about oxygen level during one of the is that the Aquashella or something like that? So
it's Machner, wasn't it? The Machner speech you did.
Machner.
I think it's something like that. So talk about the oxygen level. So they call it hypoxia, the low oxygen stress. Actually is really a very pronounced factor affecting the coral reef. And as the climate change and especially nutrient pollution. So that is well studied. The low oxygen level, you can definitely do quite a bit of damage into for corals. So that is a well established. There's no question asked. So because that as animal, the coral definitely require as pretty saturated oxygen level, as well as your fish. Your fish actually need even more important for your fish for the oxygen level. So that is why in this hobby, people actually prefer to have a sum. In addition to the skimmer, the oxygen level enrichment actually created by your sum and overflow. That is even more important to enrich your oxygen level in the water, because that air exchange only happens at the water surface. So when the water going through this the overflow, think about it, every molecule of the water have to go through these thin layers of flow that drip down in your overflow, go down to the sum. And when the water will drain down to the sum, there's an air and water mix so vigorously being come down to the sum. The agitation. So that is why oxygen level is so important. But should we actually need to bubble oxygen in our water? Hell no, don't do that. Because the oversaturation of oxygen is not good, because that it induces the oxidative stress. It basically, that's why sometimes we take antioxidant, is because that the metabolism in our body were creating too much oxygen as well as oxidative species that can damage our cell. So the thing I'm trying to say is that overflow is important. The skimmer is important to enrich the oxygen level, and that is good enough.
Dong, what about bubble skimming?
So there is,
bubble skimming.
Well, what's that?
Bubble scrubbing.
Scrubbing, bubble scrubbing. Bubble
the
scrubbing.
bubble scrubber.
Yeah, bubble scrubbing.
Oh, the bubble scrubbing. Okay. Bubble scrubbing is not as bad as we thought. Remember that when bubble scrubbing, the micro bubble? They call it micro bubble one time. And then you show up on the reefing hobby and people are talking about micro bubble. And then you got shut down and saying this is a total bullshit, those kind of thing. Well, the micro bubble scrubbing is not as useless or bad as people put it to be. Yes, you can do it. Basically, what you're doing in your skimmer is a controlled fashion of micro bubble scrubbing. And since if you have a big enough skimmer, you already done enough, because that the oxygen saturation in the level can only reach so high and no more. It's not the more you pump in, unless you pump pure oxygen into the water, you cannot increase the oxygen level even further when you reach saturation, unless you pump pure oxygen in the water. So if you have a big skimmer, you have a good overflow, that the return flow rate is good.
Yeah.
And that's good enough. By pumping microbubble in the water, it probably won't get you any more of oxygen saturation in the water.
I thought it was a method people use for clarity, though, for getting better clarity. Is that not what its purpose is then?
Well, I thought it was very similar to the coral snow, Jamie. If I'm honest with
that's
you.
it.
It's the theory.
I don't think that.
Because there's a guy I follow on Insta called Viking Reefing. He's got a couple of superb SPS and angel tanks.
Yeah.
Swears by bubble scrubbing. He does it religiously, and tank's amazing. Like, there's no adverse effects that we've seen. So everyone reefs different. That old saying again, but it must have a place. It must do something beneficial.
The bubble scrubbing actually is more like turn your whole tank into a big skimmer.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's harmful to the thing, but I won't do it because it looks so odd, right? So if you don't mind seeing that the tons of microbubble rising in your tank, I don't think it's harmful. I think it probably even beneficial. What happens is that you basically turn your whole tank into a skimmer, and then with all this organic material flow to the surface and go down to the overflow to make your skimmer more efficient.
Yeah. Dong, there's a question here from Delius again regarding oxygen. Can you take out too much oxygen without recirculating CO2 scrubber, even if you've got lots of surface agitation? So can you take out too much oxygen using a recirculating CO2 scrubber?
But I think that when you use a recirculating CO2 scrubber, you're actually increasing the oxygen level, right?
Oxygen levels, because you're just taking out the CO2.
So because you're taking out the CO2.
It's higher of the oxygen.
Yeah, the concentration is higher. Oxygen concentration is higher.
Yes, I would think as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Back to your slide.
Okay. Next slide. Whatever. That is just yeah. Okay. So what actually can affect the dissolved oxygen level? That is very interesting thing. So basically, we all boil down to the DOC again, and as well as your yellow bucket test. So basically, is that the dirtier your water, you actually drop the oxygen concentration. Why is that? When your water is dirtier, it contains more nutrient, you actually increase the bacterial growth. When bacteria grow, what happens? You consume oxygen. You reduce your oxygen level. Same as carbon dosing. Here is the important thing about one of the argument people against carbon dosing is that constant high carbon content in what? What's that comment?
It means greatest of all time, but we'll just call you a goat.
Okay.
It's all right. We'll call you a goat.
Thank you.
Dong
So,
the goat.
Here's the thing. If you constantly have carbon in the water column, doing carbon dosing, you're constantly encouraging bacteria to grow. That means that you have a constant consumption of oxygen by those bacteria. So now the thing is that's where the frequent water change comes in play. It decreases your DOC concentration. When the organic material concentration lower in your water, that means that less bacteria will be consuming this kind of thing. Less bacterial growth and less oxygen consumption. Because think about it this way, oxygen is very small amount in a salt, especially in the salt water. Because that when the salinity of water increase, the amount of oxygen can dissolve in the water decrease. Okay, so being salt water in our tank, the oxygen is already very limited. Now, your fish is fighting for this limited oxygen. Your bacteria is fighting for this limited oxygen. Your coral is fighting for this limited oxygen. Everybody wants this oxygen. It's such a small amount actually can saturate it in the water.
But you can also have issues with if you've got any nuisance algae as well, though, from my own experience, because they can rip the oxygen.
Yes. So that is why the cleaner the water, the higher the oxygen level. Yeah. And actually, you show up on ORP reading too.
Yeah.
So when you think about that is why that back in the old days that people use ORP reading as how clean your water is.
Okay.
Yeah. And now here comes another thing, temperature. The temperature is very important. So from the most reason, of course, that the physics of oxygen is that the lower the temperature is, the more oxygen, higher oxygen level in the water. The warmer, the less, the cooler the water, the better, the higher the oxygen level. So think about this way is that when in summertime, if our tank reach 80 degrees, versus in the wintertime, our tank is like 76, 74 degrees. In wintertime, and now the oxygen level is in there is much more saturated, much higher. So there's a frequently observed phenomena is that over the winter months, the coral actually grow better than summer months.
Really?
In the wild, yeah?
Oh, yeah. In the wild, as well as I observe in our tank. So the winter growth is always better than the summer growth. It could be contribute to the higher oxygen level or cooler water. And now comes to another thing. So when people are struggling with...
Tom's sticking because he's really tank warm.
I run my tanks warmer. You know that. You both know that. But so where does that sit with pH then? Because you would theoretically think that this time of year, cooler, that doors are closed, windows are closed, heating's on, people are people are breathing. You'd like to think they're breathing.
The carbon dioxide, right?
Carbon dioxide levels increase, so pH level drops.
Here comes a very good question. And how the tank is dealing with carbon dioxide. Because the oxygen is a neutral species, it does not get affected by the how much, for example, your pH, alkalinity, whatever. The effect of oxygen is very low. But what happened to the carbon dioxide? when your carbon dioxide concentration in the room increase, because this is a big buffering system, then the carbon dioxide enter the seawater, it become alkalinity. Because your carbon dioxide can be reacted by the seawater and turn into alkalinity. It's not that bad. But your oxygen cannot react. Oxygen is a neutral species. But carbon dioxide can react with the high pH of salt water, become alkalinity.
So should people be measuring oxygen?
Well, there is oxygen test kits from Salifert. If you are curious about that, you can use that. But from my personal experience, is that when we have the good skimmer, good water flow, good agitation, the oxygen level pretty much saturated. It won't change much.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. Just make sure you have a good skimmer. Yeah. Okay, now come with the LED moonlight. Okay. So this is another question people ask all the time.
I've got a special guest. I've got Sharon here from Tommy.
Oh, hi.
Tommy.
Hey.
Come on. All the way from Scotland. You've tuned in. Hello.
Good evening.
Get yourselves a drink, yeah? We'll be doing really soon.
Okay.
Sorry, Dong.
We'll let him off not signing in then.
It's perfect. It's great. Yep. LED moonlight. Okay. So one thing that people keep talking about is that if you have AI Hydra or AI Prime, the latest generation, actually, is the latest generation, the Hydra's 32 HD or AI Prime 16 HD. What is the most significant change? The moonlight is white.
Right.
Go on.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to say go on.
And also the moonlight is much less. The intensity is very little. So here's a scientific paper done on so-called light pollution. They actually done it in a lab by using LED to simulate light pollution, how it affects coral. Guess what? The result is that your blue LED moonlight actually affecting the coral's growth negatively.
Okay. But we only ever have that on just while we're looking at it, don't we? It's ornamental. We don't have that there to serve a purpose.
No.
Yes, if you have LED moonlight, blue LED, especially blue LED moonlight on throughout the night, you are not doing you are not doing a favor to your coral at all. It can significantly impact the growth of coral.
Sorry, rewind. Say that again. Rewind.
Okay, so the basic idea is that disable your LED moonlight function for majority of the night. Yep. Because it will negatively impact your coral's growth. So unless you're doing coral spawning, that's an entirely different story.
Okay. So this is a setting. This is a setting that would normally run all the way through the night, but of very low intensity.
Yeah. Yep. Turn the freaking thing off. That's very important. Unless you are doing coral spawning. If you're doing coral spawning, you have to tune the intensity. You have to tune the phase, or whatever, all that kind of thing need to be done. If you are not doing coral spawning, turn the freaking thing off. And LED moonlight can negatively affect your coral growth, especially if your LED moonlight actually is blue.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in the nature, moonlight is not blue. Moonlight is white. Yep. And also that blue LED definitely pollute. It causes light pollution to affect your coral growth. So that's basically is the take-home message. No blue LED moonlight at night, because if you are not spawning coral. if you want to spawn coral, you really have to pay attention about the intensity,
you need
the
to
phase,
do the
whatever,
lunar
all that
cycle
kind
as
of
well.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. All that.
Yeah,
information.
exactly. You have to do it all 9 yards. Otherwise, you are not doing a good service for your
don't
coral.
bother.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
don't bother with it. There's a question about adding sand to establish SPS reef
Yes,
tank.
there was. It was. I think it was Yazan's Reef actually.
Excellent. Yeah, good question. I actually did that as well. I did it. The reason I did do it, I do it is because this is a hobby, right? Because I really love the easy maintenance for bare bottom reef. But I do have a tank. I want to have some sand at the bottom, just for it's a hobby, right? To do that, yeah, it can be done. But you have to ask yourself, is it really going to benefit your tank? Probably is not a great deal, but it can be done. What you do is that first, what sand to use? Sands to avoid. If the sand saying that live sand, hell no. There's no such thing as a live sand sealed in a plastic bag. It just purely doesn't work.
Yeah,
the true live sand that people actually sell here. Yeah, the people actually, we can buy true live sand here. What those live sand is, they harvest in Florida, pack under natural seawater, and then just rush it overnight to your doorstep. Yes, that is live sand. That costs your arm and legs and costs your divorce. Yeah, or sleeping in the garage for whole months, that kind of thing. It costs really, really terribly expensive. That is a live sand. Anything that in a store, in a plastic bag, they call wet sand. Polluted wet sand. Absolutely a money scam.
Steph, you're very quiet, sat there with that Rick and Morty audio.
I use that sand. I'm a big fan of that sand. Big fan of one of those sands you've got on that screen.
Those sand, not only you're wasting money, and wasting money, and wasting money, and wasting money, and also putting all kinds of garbage in your tank, especially you have established SPS reef tank. You're basically
is this just narrowing? Sorry, John. Is this just narrowing it down to this specific bag that you've got, or are you talking about the full range?
No, all of them. All of them. Anything called live sand are a scam. Unless they're fresh harvest, and then ship overnight to you. Yeah, that is live sand. And it's especially those things sitting in a store shelf, they're not live sand. So the type of sand you should use when you try to add sand to an established SPS reef tank is to use well-washed dry sand. For example, that the sand I used is the one from Two Little Fish. They're coarse, aragonite sand. And then I wash it under the sink over and over and over again until the water run clear. And then I take this wet sand and then get a cup. I scoop the wet sand and cover the wet sand, the cup, and put it in the water and then to the bottom, and then slowly pour to the bottom. That's how I do it. Yeah, you can do it. You can add sand. What's that question? So when I transfer my 5 feet, I need to get sand and sorry, I didn't fully get this question, but the thing is that when you try to use a sand, dry sand is the best way to go, and keep washing it until it's clear. And then that's the best sand. Just save your wallet and do not buy anything that's live sand. So hopefully,
I mean, I've fallen foul of this. But you get a little sachet. Looks like the old-fashioned Smith's crisps, Jamie.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, the magic sachet.
You pour it in, and nothing happens. Yeah. Anyway,
I always take a couple of scoops from an established tank, put it into a new tank with it. So I know people say you shouldn't do that, and
That's
I'll
a
just
good way to
put
do it. That
Yeah,
is true
I'll just-
life
it is
set.
a good, yeah.
and then just to help seed the new sand, and perhaps that's the reason I've been a fan of it, because it's worked for a different reason.
And so to do an experiment about live sand, you can try this. Get a scoop of sand from your reef tank, established reef tank, and put it in a Ziploc bag and seal it and put it on your counter, and then open it 1 week after.
Ooh.
And you tell me if you want to add those things into your tank.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Nice.
Yep.
Eggy.
Moving on.
Okay. So there's another question about the top 3 products for this hobby.
We did have
That's
this
a question
Yes,
impossible to answer.
We need a tank.
So it all depends on your perspective, your wallet, your habit, and actually there's many good products for this hobby. It's very difficult to pick out the top 3 products, but I can only answer the question based on my personal experience. So, for example, I try to answer one question. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so top 3 salt brand that I use. So I will use Tropic Marin for reef salt. So it's more expensive. The reason I will use it when it's on sale, because it definitely is a good salt. Okay, no question asked. It's a good salt. The Turkey fiasco is behind us, and all this German top Tropic Marin salt is a good salt. And I also use the Reef Crystal, and mostly this I use the most because it is readily available. They're half the price of the Tropic Marin. I really don't see any difference between these two.
But
for matter of fact, that
I'm just going to throw a bit of a spanner in the works here with my recent experience with Red Dragon pumps. I'm not going to say anything more than that tonight.
Okay. So,
do you genuinely think you get what you pay for?
For the Tropic Marin,
in general, in this
the way I look at it,
in general, in any product.
No, you don't.
Do you think you get what you?
No, you don't.
Thank you. That's my case.
No, not at all.
That's all I need to say.
Because that in this hobby, there's so much marketing hype in it, including getting the social media influencer to hype up product. It happens so much. That is why we have to read bullshit.
Anything that Steph has advertised.
I've been using them products for years. I'm using my products for years.
But the plant is a good
I'm not one of them. Yeah, Don, where's the Nile Pure Salt on that slide?
The Nile Salt, it looks good, but I never use it myself. I don't know. So, but on paper, it looks pretty good because that the Nile Salt is pretty new. But I did use most of the salt that happened for that on the market for a long time. The Resico Pro is a salt that I used before, which is pretty good. But at the end of the day, is that I still use the Reef Crystal because that is cheap and it's as good as the others. But there is one important thing I use.
Don't cheap comes into the equation. The more often you use it, and the more of something you use, isn't it? If you had a nano tank, you're not going to start questioning how much salt is, because you're probably going to do what that box is going to last you 6 months. It's only going to become a question of cost if you're using it on a weekly basis.
The Reef Crystals, I swear the guys that I think it was that salt they used at eye-catching corals for that hanger full of I think they used the Reef Crystal salt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And basically, it depends on how much you use. For example, if you only go through one box every 2 months, it doesn't. Just buy whatever you think is comfortable. But if you're using 2 boxes per week, that the cost becomes an important thing. Yeah,
exactly.
So
that's what I'm saying.
and also what I found out is that the different region, the salt seems to manufacture differently. I don't know if that's true or not, right? So the Reef crystal I get in US may be different from the Reef crystal, Tom, you get from UK. I'm not absolutely sure about that.
I used to buy the Instant Ocean, but I had a really bad experience of it mixing. I used to get a really bad sort of leftover residue in the vat that I was mixing it in. So so I stopped using it, and I tried the Red Sea Blue Bucket, which was better, and then the Niles came out, and that was even better and cheaper. So for me, it's like, well, you know, does it mix clean?
Yeah.
How much does it cost? It's all these little things that, as a hobbyist, when you're dealing with a lot of water volume, as I am downstairs and in the garage, you want stuff to make your life easier. And if it doesn't, and it costs you even more money, then like, why would you do it? You know, it's sort of a headache that you don't need. Yeah. So for
you've
me,
also got you've also got to factor in as well. I've come around to the way of thinking it. Whatever salt I use is just the base, because I'm dosing on top of it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah.
So if I wasn't dosing and I had a nano tank, I'd buy the best salt I could afford, because, like you say, it's going to last me forever and it's going to have loads more trace in it.
Yes, yes.
I've been researching it because of this. I don't mind buying a cheaper salt, because I'm putting my own stuff in anyway. You know.
I do have one thing that I prefer the Reef crystal over the other. Is that the Reef crystal is not, the powder is not as fine as the other, so it doesn't get airborne as easy.
Okay.
So when I open a box of chopped marron, yeah, you can see that the fine particles start to get into the air. But when I use Reef crystal, much less dust actually rising up from the salt.
But then the finer the salt, like the Niles salt, is really, really fine, and it mixes so crisp. It mixes better because it's finer.
I'd say something I'm going to ask you, Dong, since we're talking about salt, is how long do you think you could keep salt mixed for in a vat with a heater and a pump before you should use it? What's, in your professional opinion, what is the ultimate lifespan of salt before you should use it?
4 hours.
What?
No more than 4 hours.
4 hours?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa. Whoa. 4 hours. I've got salt out there at rain, in buckets out there at rain.
Yeah, I do mine the day before. I do mine overnight because of the temperature. It takes so long to heat up.
It depends on what brands of salt you use, though. Like the Coral Pro and Reef crystal, that has higher alkalinity and calcium level. I will use it within 4 hours, because after that they start to precipitate.
Oh, that makes sense.
They start losing the potency.
Yeah.
So even if you're moving the water and the water's at the right temperature, Don.
Even you're moving the water, yes.
Wow.
You will micro precipitate, cool the barrel, and
Wow.
So what about these, like, because one of the things that's on my New Year's resolution is to set up an auto water changing system of with a vat with what, and it's going to be slowly changing. So how do we look at, what do we do with that?
So for automatic water change, I will use the salt that with lower alkalinity and lower calcium level. For example, that like the Coral Pro and Reef crystal, they mix into like 12 ppH. That you guarantee to precipitate. There's even a study done on that. You can see that the Reef crystal and Coral Pro basically precipitate out.
That's your answer.
If you're using something that is lower alkalinity and calcium, and that you can stir it much longer.
Yeah, the idea. Yeah. In response to that comment, the idea is to make life easier. Well, yeah.
When you use the.
Go on, Doug.
Oh,
so yeah, what I'm trying to say is that if I will not use Reef crystal or Coral Pro for automatic water change, because this salt just not going to last. When you keep it for stirring for days, it will precipitate, because the excess amount of alkalinity and calcium level in it. So there's a study done on that. You can see that the Reef crystal just, but the regular instant ocean will last much more longer if you want to keep stirring.
So I've noticed that happen, right? I'll mix my water up, and probably it'll be in there for 3 or 4 days, but I'll salt it up to about 1.020, and then just before I use it, I'll put the last 2 or 3 jugs in to bring it back up, just to so I don't.
That is a good idea. That is a good idea. It's all about precipitation, right? So when you have a lower salinity, the less chance to precipitate.
Yeah. That's how I store it.
Because once the precipitation happens, when the crystals start forming, you're actually dragging more. For example, that.
But surely if you're only doing 10%, that's not going to be the end of the world, is it? As a percentage in a reef.
No, it's not. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world at all.
So for people watching at home, it's not like they're not going to have to change what they're doing now, because because let's be honest, like look at an RO machine. Yeah, in the UK, I don't know about the States, or anywhere else. An RO machine is going to take several hours to fill up 50 litres, 100 litres of RO. Yeah, you're going to have to heat it.
But 7 hours is probably fine.
That's what I'm saying. So for people watching this at home or watching this back, their methodology on a weekend, their husbandry of doing a water change, I get what you're saying. 4 hours ideal, but I mean, for most people, I personally, I have to let mine heat overnight because I'm doing 150 litres to 200 litres at a time.
That shouldn't be I think overnight probably is okay. I did that too. Okay. So sometimes that I let it stir overnight. But the thing is that some of the salt manufacturers, even on their label, telling you no more than 4 hours. That's one thing.
Oh, really?
The second thing is, yes. Some brands are sold in US. Actually, they have that thing on their label, saying no more than 4 hours. I think it's something to do with Red Sea, if I remember correctly. But stirring overnight probably is perfectly fine. But definitely the when you stir more than a day or something like that for the high alkalinity salt, maybe that demonstrated definitely is losing the potency. Because
I have to acknowledge this comment, Dong. I'm sorry, but okay, boys, right. So 2 weeks ago, everybody bought new wave makers because of the rising wave.
No.
And everybody took carbon out.
If you are using automatic water change, use a salt that has lower calcium and alkalinity level, or just like Jamie did, get a lower salinity. That helps. But I will never use the Reef Crystal or Coral Pro as the automatic water change. Seriously, I won't do that. And there is a study done on that as well. After basically the precipitation is very significant.
So Mick's saying that next week we've all gone tropical.
Okay, another question is about T5 bowls. Oh yeah, T5 bowls. So the first thing is that there are actually 2 types of T5 bowl. Despite you got Blue Plus, Coral Plus, Purple Plus, blah blah blah, Aqua Blue Special. In reality, you only get 2 types. One is the true actinic. Second thing is the Blue Plus. The rest of them, like the Aqua Blue Special, Coral Plus, and Purple Plus, is all based on the Blue Plus bowl with the spikes of green and red in it, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's the reality of T5 bowl. Yep.
Do you know what threw me? Do you know what threw me about you and Tusi the other day, the last Friday, was about changing the bulbs, because you both said that it was a marketing stunt.
Oh, the interval to change the bulbs?
Yeah.
The 1.5 year, that's what I use them for.
4.5 years.
That's ATI and Giesemann only. ATI, that's very important. ATI and Giesemann bulb, I use them for 1.5 years. But if I for the Hamilton bulb, I don't know if you guys have that. That is pretty popular in US. Those things can last for 6 months. It's a miracle already. There are many different brands. built differently. But what I'm talking about is ATI and Gizman. There's the two brands about that I use. 1.5 years in between changes. They work perfectly fine.
Yeah, Gizman were the best of the best when we used to have T5s over here.
Well, actually, go to the next slide to answer your question. ATI versus Gizman. That's the commonly asked question. Which bow should I use? They are the same.
Jamie's face.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah, the ATI versus Gizman debate is pure marketing. They are the same. So Coral Plus equal to Aqua Blue Coral. Aqua Blue Special equal to Aqua Blue Azul, whatever saying. And the Blue Plus equal to the Actinic Blue. They are the freaking same thing. And the good thing, the both of them last and give good color, trustworthy, reliable. They're good balls. I actually mix and match them too. Depends on what I have on hand. Gizman ATI interchangeable. Mostly for the Blue Plus and the Gizman Actinic Blue. And the Super Actinic, same thing.
Yeah, I don't think we can't get them anyway anymore. There's nowhere I found in the UK I can buy Gizman bulbs from. It's kind of phased out T5 entirely. Unless people know a supplier I don't.
I've got plenty.
Yeah, I probably got about 10 years worth of balls sitting there.
Tom, you're the sort of guy that bought 50 million bog rolls during COVID, aren't you, mate?
Yeah,
okay,
pretty much.
So there's one question is that what's the best combination of T5 ball to supplement LED? There are two types. Depends on how you run your LED. Let's just say if you have Radeon Pro, you want to turn all the channel into 100% and pretty white LED. So your LED, you can run blue, you can run white. When you have a white LED, what you want is use the Blue Plus and Actinic on each side to supplement your T5 bulb. If you use a blue LED, you only want to use the blue channel of the LED, but you want your white color, a full spectrum color coming from T5, it's much better to use the Purple Plus and Coral Plus. And despite the Purple Plus and Coral Plus are basically the same bulb, but different amount of red built into it, the Purple Plus definitely will bring out some amazing color, purple and blue for your aqua. So Purple Plus, I prefer Purple Plus over Coral Plus, seriously, in terms of the aquapora's coloration. Both of them are pretty good. So one ball I really don't like is the Aqua Blue Special because it somehow has a green tint into it. That's something I don't like. So if you want to do a standalone,
I like the Aqua Blue Special.
Oh, really? Okay, so different. Especially
on the ends of the fixture. I just think it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, anyway. Yeah. Sorry.
So for a standalone configuration for T5, I will use 50% of blue, and then the rest of them with Actinic and with a 1 Coral Plus in the middle. That's what I use, but it depends on how your preference is. This can be dramatically different. Just get a bunch of balls, put it on to see if you like them or not. But in terms of coral growth, the Purple Plus and Coral Plus are almost the same, as well as the Blue Plus. In terms of coral growth, Blue Plus, Coral Plus, and Purple Plus, they do exact the same job in terms of coral growth. The reason is that these three balls, they're actually identical at the region very important for coral growth. But only the difference is the amount of green and red phosphor built into it.
Question from Mickey Boy Mick. Dong, if money was no object or running cost, what light would you use and why?
Okay, so if money is no object, actually, I use a lot of T5 for my aquapora. The only reason to use a lot of T5 because that it gives the blanket coverage, and also that I somehow prefer the look of it. That's just a preference. So if the money is absolutely no object, I just plaster the whole reef with the ATI Straton. If money is no object, but I bet if
Straton.
I do that, I hardly recruit my cost. Yeah, just like that. I love that light, and the only reason I like the Straton is not because it's spectrum or anything. It's about its coverage. Basically, as simple as that. It's all about coverage. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Now, there's another question is that when we talk about the purple T5 bulb versus a purple LED, that actually is a commonly misconception. Despite both of them looks purple, but underlying spectrum are entirely different. A purple T5 bulb is playing a trick of our human eye. For coral, it does not see purple at all. The purple bulb is basically mixing blue, red, and green to make our eye perceive a purple color. But for the LED purple, it's actually a 420 nanometer wavelength, a peak like that. So that is a common misconception about T5 and LED. T5 color are playing on a psychological trick. In the reality, it's just like a blue plus at the heart of a T5 bulb. That is why people are successfully growing coral only using the blue plus.
Okay.
Yep. But you cannot successfully grow coral only using a single 420 nanometer wavelength of LED. Despite that, it gives you similar color perception.
That's interesting. That I wouldn't have known that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dong,
so,
what about the aqua blue? Yeah.
Okay. The aqua blue azure, I think it's just a coral plus. So the cyan actually coming from the peak that the green for phosphor emitted. That's it. So the coral plus versus purple plus is basically the peak of the green, the peaks of the red are different proportion, and that's it. So the color we look at T5 bulb is mostly come from our perception instead of the actual wavelength it emits. So here comes another question, actually from a question that Tom you sent it to me. Is somebody asked about the Japanese Spectra SP200 LED? Yes, actually that I looked into that before because I back then I was looking at different LED manufacturer, try to make my own that kind of things. I look at a lot of different things, different brand, and Jake Adams actually has a review for this LED back then for this Japanese LED. Let me tell you something. Nothing special. Absolutely just another manufacturer. No matter what kind of claim they put onto it, it's just another LED variation. Absolutely nothing special. Just like we have Radion, you have the ATI has the
Straton.
Different Straton. So seriously, nothing special. It's just another LED. One important thing: all the premium or LED manufacturer, none of them are manufacture their own LED dial. All the dials are off the shelf. It's just from just whatever already exists. Yeah, everybody using the same thing. Nothing special at all. So LED
Cree or something, is that right?
Yeah, Cree LED, Philips, Osram, Semi, Epistar, and they all this kind of thing. It's all off the market. Just off the shelf, the LED. So none of them make their own special LED. I have to take it back. Castle does make their own LED dial, but that dial is made by its parent company in Taiwan. Yeah. So They're all the same thing, different package. So all the LED we can buy is identical at heart, different facade. That's basically it. Different controller, different kind of things. Some use a refractor, some use optic, whatever thing. But the key component, the part that generate light, same. Now we talk about a supplemental LED strip. So many of them out there. You have AI, you have Rip Bright, you have the Orphic, Rip Reader, Lucas, the Quanta, all that kind of thing. But now we come back to the argument I have earlier. Everybody is using other people's off-the-market chips. Everything the different is the build quality, reliability, warranty, and that's it. Everything else basically is the same. It depends on the price, service, availability, especially second-hand market. That's a very important thing.
Definitely.
Availability of second-hand market actually is very important. So that tells you two things. One thing is that how easy you can buy a used fixture. Because for LED, buying used is nothing wrong with it. If it's only about 1 or 2 years old, I will buy used. I will not buy a brand new one.
Yeah.
So if it's 10 years old, hell no. So, okay. And then what happens if you use LED bar as primary lighting? And that has been debate for years. And even bulk resupply, they come up with all this LED bar as a primary. Hello, Polo Reef. Hey. So the idea about using LED bar as a primary lighting by combining a lot of LED bar together is perfectly fine.
Yeah,
perfectly fine. Only drawback is that you have many of the power transformer and you occupy many outlets. But on the other hand, that probably is the least expensive way to build yourself a poor man's Straton.
Not with AI blades it won't be, but we've got some others it might be.
Let's go to the next slide. This is what I'm doing right now. Next slide. This is also the last slide.
I think
this is my current project.
Correct me if I'm wrong. On the Orphex, which are on there, really, really, really good lights. I think bang for your buck, really good lights. Can you not daisy chain them? Can you not link them together?
Oh, actually, there's one thing I want to show you. Despite I'm not a big fan of Orphex, but this is one of the good things they manufacture. So basically, they control 6 LED bar.
That's it.
Yeah. The 2 more connected here using one power supply and one controller, up and dim, up and down. So that is a good thing. So that's my poor man's Straton. That's something I'm doing now. So there's 4 Orphic. They're all used. None of them are bought brand new. All used. Right. And 4 Orphic bar going to control by this brick and 1 power supply on the side, and then a 3 AI blade. I also bought it used. There are 2 of them are AI grow and 1 is glow. So now you can see that I'm going to use this to cover 3 feet times 24-inch tank.
Yeah.
And that is edge to edge coverage.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. Edge to edge coverage. And despite I have to deal with many power socket on the wall, because each AI blade has its own socket, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 socket. But I do be able to create something like poor man's Straton.
That will look
because
good.
If I want to buy a Straton with it to cover that area, I need 2 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. And this is something, actually, that's a good thing about the used market. So for all the reefers, and you can do it this way too. Go to the used market and look at whatever LED available. Buy them cheap and plaster your tank with LED. It doesn't have to be the same manufacturer. As long as it light up and work properly, plaster your tank with LED light. Yeah. and that is the very economic way to do it. And you probably will do much better than spending a huge amount of money to get some 1 or 2 name brand stuff. There's one guy I know that he plastered his whole 220-gallon reef tank with the eBay LED light, the cheaper one, the $90, the 160 watt, the little box. He had them one by one next to each other. Guess what? Very cheap, and the coral grows like nuts.
Wow.
Yep.
There you go.
So go to your secondhand market and look for any good quality usable LED, and then just build your own poor man's stratum.
Jamie, Steph, bought equipment secondhand before?
Yeah. Started with a full secondhand tank.
I have done, but the big expensive stuff like lights and that, I've always got it new, just because the protection you get. I'll be open to it. Like, now I think my DT is always going to have new if I can afford it, but I'm open to it. It's just, if you, even in the secondhand market in the UK, like, you can still spend, like, secondhand radions are still quite expensive, and if they break after a couple of weeks, you're pretty shafted, aren't you? So it's a risk.
Yeah, definitely. So from tonight's presentation, then, Dong, what's the biggest message you want to give to people based on what you've put together? What's the one thing you want to hit home? What's the one thing? You've got to pick one. What is it? One. Okay.
The message is that the dog that Steph have is really cool.
He's wearing his Christmas getup tonight, Tom. There you go.
Hey, no.
Okay. So seriously, is that this is a hobby, and there are many things you can do it many ways. And most important thing is that when you're doing certain things, you're feeling happy about it, that's the right way to do it. Seriously, it's a hobby.
Have fun. Enjoy it. It's a hobby.
Yeah, it's enjoying. It's very important. And also for your own enjoyment. It's not for other people's enjoyment. So somebody can have huge success about certain method. If you don't feel the joy of using that method, don't do it. Just, it's a hobby. It's very important. You have to be happy when you're playing with this hobby. It's a toy. If you're not happy, you don't want to do something, don't do it. There's no reason to do it.
We know what we've got to say about that, Dong. Okay, gentlemen, the 2-hour mark. Dong, thanks ever so much for that presentation together.
Thank you.
I don't know. I'm gonna throw you back on screen again. What is it?
Pickle Rick. Pickle Rick.
Oh, right. Okay. I do apologize.
It's Christmas themed. It's pajamas and a Santa.
Rick. Jamie's given us his. Okay. I will be back.
Dong made up for that in slides. So it doesn't matter.
I will be back on Sunday with the Cockney duo that are Rob and Drippy, that are over in Australia at the minute on a diving adventure, which I'm so jealous about. So can't wait to catch up with them too on that. But other than that, next Friday we're gonna have some Christmas reefing news, which can only mean one thing. That's right. Ronald McDonald will be joining us next Friday for sure on next Friday's show. So it will be good to see him for some Christmas reefing news. But other than that, it's good evening from me. It's good evening from Jamie.
Good evening.
It's good evening from Steph.
Yep.
Adios.
And it's good evening from Dong. We'll see you all soon. Take care. I'll see you all Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your weekends. Take care. Bye-bye. Good night.